Good afternoon, Quilt Roadies. Well, welcome to the channel. This is, if you're new here, this is a channel that is about stitching, whether it be quilting, embroidery, embellishment stitching, applique. I kind of do it all. Yeah, I just kind of do it all. I am basically I wouldn't say I'm a modern. I don't lean towards the modern, although I love them. And QuiltCon is going on right now, or is about to start, and that I'll put the link below. I mean, those quilts are the winners of the judging at QuiltCon are just spectacular, absolutely spectacular. And I am always in awe of people who have that artistic soul and can recreate that in another medium, you know. I tend to be more of a traditional stitcher. The part where I venture out a little bit is with Sue Spargo. I love all the embellishment stitches, and I'm very excited that this year I get to take another class with her, which I'm really looking forward to. One of my friends just got done with a workshop at Tanque Verde, which is, if you ever can get a chance to go to it's the Madeline Island School of Art that holds workshops for all kinds of art, not just stitching, but they have photography and watercolor and writing, all kinds of stuff. Their Tucson campus is at Tanque Verde, which is this all-inclusive type resort right on the edge of the Saguaro National Forest, which is absolutely spectacular, absolutely spectacular. And even though I find sometimes that I'm totally overwhelmed by the amount of stitching in a Sue Spargo project, I love them, and I have many of them, and when I finish one I am like all over it. So this was something that I did. I've showed this to you before. This was something I did at Tanque Verde. I decided that I was going to make a thread bag. So this is the inside fabric that I chose, but it has the little things to hold the spool, and I know some of you have already seen this, but it's such an interesting way to interpret stitching. And so here, I'm most proud of this in that Sue helped me do a loom stitch. I have a little wooden loom that I got from her of a saguaro cactus, and then I used fabric here and embellished that to give it that dimensional look. And there was our camper at the time, and just all the things, the barrel cactus, the sun, the rain that happens, the jackrabbits. It's such a story. I mean, she really did start out with stitching as a story, so that's absolutely fabulous. But there are so many wonderful stitchers out there. One of my friends, Ariane, has and I'll put that link below, she has a site, a YouTube, and also does workshops, and her stitching is, what would I call it? It's artistic, like it would be like the modern quilting is to traditional quilting. Ariane is that, she brings that artistic, just fabulous. So there are so many wonderful designers out there. I just fall in love with all of it. I love it all. So if you're new to the channel, be prepared if you decide to hang around that this is somewhat of a wild ride all over the place. I did want to, at the beginning of the video, I think G inserted me doing some machine quilting. I had in my mind that I could feel the anxiety. I just could feel the anxiety. That piece that I'm working on is one that I am donating to the storybook quilts for auction at Quilters Affair. Now, I do believe that you can, like, maybe call in a bid. I'll have to find that out. But what's really cool about it is that they set up a big book, and different creators donate a quilt to be auctioned to support I believe it's for the arts and schools in Sisters. I think it is. I'll have to find out for sure. Anyway, I am donating that quilt, and it has been on my design wall. And I started getting a little anxious because my modus operandi is to wait till the night before to do anything when it's due. I mean, I was always that person writing the term paper the night before. The finals tomorrow? Okay, I guess I better study today. And it is one of those traits that I would like to adjust a little. There are so many things about myself that I absolutely love. I mean, I love the ADHD. I love the hyperfocus. But that one part of waiting till the last minute does create a lot of stress. And when I sit in my stitching chair over there and I see it out of the corner of my eye, and I purposely put it on the design wall so I wouldn't forget about it. Yesterday, I was just, I could just feel that that was going to create an issue for me if I didn't just start quilting it. And so I did. And I feel so much better about myself. I feel so much better about myself. I'm going to face it, which is a different technique. I know we've talked about that before, but if you're new, know that I don't always put a binding on my quilt. I sometimes will face a quilt if it lends itself to that, where I don't want to add another element to the quilt. And if you Google like quilt roadies facing a quilt, you will get a tutorial about that. It's an awesome technique for certain quilts, and I think it's going to be perfect for this one. So I'm kind of excited that I've already started quilting it. Yeah, the actual base of the quilt, the strips of batiks, I am not, with full disclosure, a batik fabric person. There's a long history of why I am not a batik fabric person, but let's just say it's not my favorite fabric. When I first discovered batiks, there was an aroma to them that would make my asthma act up, and now that doesn't happen anymore, but I've already got it in my head. So that background was just a scrap piece that someone, this gal in Sisters has a long arm quilting business. I'll have to see if she's still in business in the same location. She had that piece that she just kind of sewed together, and she said, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And I said, well, I'll take it, because I knew when I saw it that it would be something that I could do sashiko on. And so I did a sashiko motif, and then I had a piece of cyanotyping which is something I did at a workshop with Sylvia Pippin down at Asilomar. I love that the world is opening back up and these things are happening again, because to go to an actual workshop and learn something that you're not familiar with and just be with friends, new friends, old friends, in a new location other than your own sewing room, it's a blessing. It truly is a blessing. And cyanotyping was something I had never heard about until I took the class with Sylvia Pippin, who's actually a very, very lovely person. And it's it's a certain kind of fabric that when you put the motifs cut out of paper on top of that fabric and you set it out in the sun, it like bleaches it out. So that's where that the moon and the cranes and it was all cut out and done outside. It's a specific kind of dyeing, and I know that on her site, I believe she has some of that stuff available. So I will again put the link in the drop-down box. And I know some of you have asked where the drop-down box and what that all means. When you open the video, the first thing you're going to do when you open the video is hit a thumbs up for me. And then you're going to subscribe if you're not subscribed. It will say subscribed. And right next to that is a little bell, and you're going to tap that if you want to know when I upload another video. So in the title below the picture of the video, there'll be usually it says more ... And if you click that, I put a lot of links that save you time from hunting and searching on Google, where you can go directly to the site. So I will put Sylvia's site down there because, again, I'm just really lucky that all the things I'm interested in, the creators are such lovely people. They are just such lovely people. Yes. So here I'm off and running, aren't I? I had, now, the best thing, if you have a chance to go read through the comments, it is a lot of fun because there's a lot of conversation or suggestions in there. And you get to know people, you know. I know many of you watch it on a television, but you can go onto your phone or computer, iPad, and type in a comment if you want. There are a lot of suggestions and support because naturally we all need a little bit of support, don't we? But I got a message from a gal who, after I talked about the Kathy Schmidt's gentle soft toys, you know, all the little animals, and these are the first two that I'm going to do. Well, when she ordered her set, she told Kathy where she'd heard about it, and Kathy was like, "Oh yeah, I know when Anna's talking about something." But here's the thing that she told her that I want to pass on to you is, if you're like me, I would like prep all of them. Every single one of them I would prep. But you shouldn't do that, because apparently over time, now this is a good amount of time, the ink, because this is not a traceable, it's such a slick way to do things, this will fade. So you have to do it only like 2 at a time, and you have to be pretty, you know, it can't be something you fold away for a couple years, because then the actual might fade. So be sure when you do yours, for those of you that are also in love with it. The thing that struck me as funny is that I told you last time that I found the crackle fabric, which you can use any type of tone on tone, you know, you could do any color of background, but I have always loved Kathy's crackle fabric, which I'm not sure they're printing it anymore, but I looked and looked and looked, and I found a couple yards in my stash, and so I did the print of the first two that I'm doing, that I'm taking with me on a little trip that I'm taking to a little sister trip. But before I found that, in my panic, I ordered 2 yards of it from 123 Stitch. And it came today, and it's weird, because when I first saw it, I thought, well, it is crackle fabric. It says crackle fabric, but does it say crackle fabric on it? Yep. Yeah, it's crackle fabric. Kathy Schmitz. But this just shows you how different dye lots are. So when I first saw this, I thought, wow, that has kind of a green tone to it. And so here it is. This is the old crackle fabric. Now look at that. Look at the difference. I'm really surprised. So luckily I have enough of the old crackle fabric, since I already did these two, to do all my animals with. Yeah, because I want them all kind of the same, you know. When I looked at these patterns, and I said last time, I really read the directions on this, because when I went through them, I was somewhat confused, but then I realized what a genius she is. So you want to, for sure, read the directions, especially on how to create the back, because you have to cut, this is where you're going to stuff it. So you have to really pay attention to how you're going to print the back. Okay, so now this is all ready, and surprising to me, I did not have any of the called for Valdani that is on there, so I had to, and I went to my local quilt shop, and although they had a gazillion colors, they also did not have the colors that I needed, except for one, which was the blue. So I had to convert to a lot of different colors, and that was not hard to do, because I have a lot of thread. I mean, really, I'm just such a stickler. When the designer says use this color, I want to use that color. But I got creative. And I've got it all stored in my Yazzie bag that I embellished with a buttermilk basin motif, because this is what I'm going to travel with to go have a long sister weekend. Very excited about that. Yeah. So I just thought that was so funny about that crackle fabric. I also have, although it won't be happening this week, in April I have my fabric stalker retreat, and I generally, last time I took all handwork. I mean, truly 80% or more is handwork, but I really have that desire to piece a quilt. And so although I don't have the pattern here, it's one of the Villa Rosa, I think that's what they're called, but this is going to be an awesome quilt. So here's the fabric. I'm going to have it all cut out ahead of time. I have this charm pack. I have 2 charm packs because it uses 5-inch squares. I have 2 charm packs, and then I have this bee fabric. I cannot wait to piece that quilt. So I'm going to get it all cut out ahead of time and have it all ready to just sit down and piece away while at retreat. We generally get together. We used to get together all the time. I mean, literally, you know, every other week. I mean, we all worked together back in the day. We were all doctors and nurses. And we'd meet at each other's house, and then we'd go on retreat, and then we'd go on a workshop and all that. And then as time evolved, our children were involved in different things, sports and all that. So then we had, you know, a busy schedule, but we still had retreat every year, like twice a year at least. And then slowly we added some new members who were relatives of the existing members. That was so fun. And then there were grandchildren. And then there was a lot of moving going on. But we still are committed to our history. And I guess that's the way I can say it. We're committed to our history. And so that retreat in April is just one that I look forward to that. And I know many of you have those quilty friends that you've quilted with forever, you know, and the history there is just so awesome. I mean, you've gone through births, deaths, marriages, divorces, illnesses, aging. Oh my God, are we all in the middle of aging? So it's good to have people by your side. It's good to have people by your side. So I'm listening. This is my audiobook, and it is, I'm here to tell you, it is keeping my interest. I needed something that was total entertainment, because I had been reading recently books that are really make you think. And so I found that David Baldacci wrote this book that I didn't even know about, The 620 Man, and it's an audiobook that I'm listening to, and it is just like, I'm trying to find time where I can just listen to it. So I'm doing the dishes in the kitchen listening to that. Usually it's supposed to be when I'm stitching or sewing or something, but no, anytime I'm doing anything, I'm listening to that. And the other book, the hardcover book, is still The Myth of Normal, and that is not a book that you can power through. You just have to embrace it, engage your thoughts, reflect, and learn. So yesterday we had a snowstorm to beat all snowstorms. It was at least almost 11 inches in the greater Portland area, which made the city stop. Portlanders are not equipped, for that kind of snow. They deal in the West Hills and stuff, you know, they deal with snow every year. You get a little bit of snow every year in Portland, but not that much snow. So it has literally stopped life in Portland. No buses are running, schools are canceled, and it's nice and sunny out right now, but it's so cold that the snow is not melting. And the road, you know, the plows are, they can't even keep up. They can't even keep up. Today was our garbage pickup day. That garbage truck didn't even make it up here. There's just way too much snow, which means that it's a lovely day to stay home. And our construction has come to a halt. No guys here today working because they literally can't get out of their homes. We had 6 to 7 inches here, but and it's strange because we're at the top of a hill. But down in the Portland area, they had almost 11 inches. I mean, literally I-5 and 84, cars and semis were abandoned on the road, so it was just, the plows can't even plow because of all the vehicles abandoned. Yeah. And you know, it's bad when someone abandons their car right now because, you know, it's too hard to get a new car. So that says something, doesn't it? Yeah, so it's a nice day to just kind of hunker down and relax and do some stitching and reflect. And my phone is just going crazy because my retreat group fabric stalkers are talking. I sent a photograph to them. That's why my phone's buzzing, even though I have the sound off. It's because one of our retreats was at my mom's vacation home in Bend, and one time we got stuck. We literally could not leave the retreat because of the amount of snow that fell. And one of our members, Lori, her husband actually had to come with his plow and get us out. But one of the photographs I took at that time was my quilting ruler stuck in the snow to show how many inches it was. And so this morning I did that out in my backyard, and I sent that photograph to them because it was a sweet memory back then, and now today it was 7 inches on the ruler by the time I got out there. Yeah. What else? I am in love. I powered through. I laughed out loud. You have to have Apple TV, but you can, you know, like join it for a week for free and then discontinue it. But a show called Shrinking. I am in love with that show, and it has Harrison Ford in it. But it is, yeah. The last episode, I was just laughing out loud. It's about a group of counselors, you know, psychotherapists, and their own issues and their patients' issues. But I was just laughing out loud. It was so awesome, awesomely funny, awesomely funny. Well, I'll let you go. I put some soup in the crock pot, some bean soup this morning, so I can smell it. It's really awesome. It's the perfect day for it. And I'm going to get back to my stitching. And I hope all of you are doing well and that you're safe and enjoying life. I love you guys.